So today I'm going to show you how to write a story. I love stories. Listening to a new or exciting story can change your outlook on the day or the rest of your life. They inspire and alter history. They're amazing to learn about and listen to, but they can be a real challenge to make. I've written stories before, so I'm sure I can help you. Writing your own story can be challenging, so let's start at step one. The first step is to think of a general idea for your topic that you want to share. Now, narrow it down to a subject you want to tackle. It can be a person, place, or thing. Even a really broad subject is fine. It can also cover more than one noun, so it can be a person and a place, or I want to cover a place and a thing. I'm going to choose cats. I like cats. So I'll write down. I'm just cats, just simple. What's work best is an idea you know a lot about. You can write more about it because you know about the topic. Next, you choose a genre. Romance, mystery, comedy. Fiction, nonfiction, realistic, fantasy. You can also have conflicting genres. You can have like a sad, a comedic one. I'm gonna choose I'm choose romance. I like romance. It's pretty cool. So next we're gonna do is create a plot. And we'll start with the exposition. This is where you describe and explain the story, including details like the setting and the reason for the plot. What I would do is I would be like, okay, cats find out they don't have 9 lives. And essentially you can get an idea that can reasonably show you what is going to happen next. So after that, we're going to give the climax. This is where usually the action takes place. Now you may think, oh, I just put the action. It can be more than one thing. So you can have like the exposition and the climax start in the same place. I chose to do it like that because it's easier on me. You don't have to. You can start it differently. So this is technically the action we have here. So I'm going to add a little bit more detail so that we don't have to start there. I can say, cats believe certain myths, like they have 9 lives. Okay, so this creates a conflict because now they want to find out, and this is where the climax comes in. And the resolution, which is the next part of it, is the end of the climax, and it shows how the climax is resolved, how the conflict is resolved. So they find out they find out they don't have 9 lives. Sorry, my writing's kind of bad. And now we can move on to adding more details. This is where we develop characters and narrative. I'm going to choose. Now you can choose. This is a crucial part of your story. Choosing who is involved, what is involved, is important to your story and how it relates to the person. You can choose however many characters you want. You can also choose how fleshed out you want the characters to be. I'm going to stick with just the broad statement of cats, so you don't know how many are involved. And I'm not going to have them be fleshed out at all because they're just kind of gullible. And my perspective I'm going to use, which could be first, which is like describing your own self in your own words, like autobiographies. There's second perspective, which is like taking the reader and listener and putting them in the place of you, giving them described experience, like a choose your own adventure book. And third perspective is when you place yourself outside the story and refer to it as such, like a history book, where you're not involved, but you still explain the experience. I'm going to choose like third perspective where I'm not involved in it. Also, this is fiction, because I don't think cats have the mental intelligence until proven otherwise. So this is fiction. I chose romance. That does not fit. I don't know why I chose romance. I should choose action. This is essentially just action. And now that we have our story pieces, we can put them together. And the final step is writing a draft, placing all three steps together in a sensible order. Then you write them in order. Gather the subject, the plot, and extra details which you have. And then first we put the idea, then the plot, and developing characters and the narrative. Now we got to put it in the correct order, which would be cats believe myths, a myth they like is lies, they test it by jumping off a roof. They're not alive afterwards. Alive. The other cats take notice that they're dead. They conclude this is a myth. Now, the thing about writing a story is that you're finished when you're satisfied. If you're not satisfied, just write it over or seek some outside advice like feedback. That can help you a lot, or looking at better examples of a similar story you would want to write from previous authors. Luckily, we're born in a time where there are a lot of writers, so this shouldn't be hard at all. And then if you're satisfied, you're essentially done. You now have a solid story that should flow nicely, but just to make sure, let's look at the steps again. The 4 steps in making a book are getting an idea of what you want to talk about, writing the plot. The third step is developing the characters and the narrative. And the first step is putting them all together. The best part is that you're finished when you're satisfied with it, so this is just a conventional outline. Though you may write a story however you want. It can break down every step I spoke of earlier, and it would be a story. You may be the only one who knows it's a story, but that's what makes them so great. You don't have to follow these conventions at all. You can do B, A, B. Okay, that's a terrible B. And it can be a story. Now, objectively, probably not, but to you, of course. I think.